Are you willing to learn the horrific truth about one of America's most infamous serial killers? In our most recent video, finally, join us as we delve into the sinister and dark world of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. John Wayne Gacy. Who is he? As we examine the life and crimes of this notorious killer, get ready to be both fascinated and disturbed. Stay tuned to learn more about this terrifying true crime tale. One of the most notorious and terrifying serial killers in American history was John Wayne Gacy. Gacy, who was born in Chicago in 1942, had a difficult upbringing due to an alcoholic father who physically beat him. In order to have access to the young men and boys who would eventually become his victims, he dropped out of high school and subsequently began a career in construction. Beginning in the 1970s, while Gacy was in his 30s, he began to commit murders. He would frequently use promises of drugs, booze, or money to entice his victims to his house. Once there, he would abuse them sexually before killing them by strangulation. Gacy was renowned for using ropes, chloroform, and shackles to subdue his victims during his attacks. Gacy used clown makeup and costumes to conceal his true identity, which is possibly the most terrifying aspect of his murders. Gacy enjoyed amusing kids, and for celebrations and other occasions, he frequently dressed up as a clown. Yet he continued to dress up as a clown while committing his horrifying atrocities, earning him the moniker Killer Clown. Most of Gacy's victims were teenagers and young men, many of whom he had met through his side job as a clown or his construction job. He would frequently provide them with employment opportunities or transportation, which they took as a friendly offer. But once inside his house, Gacy would overwhelm them and carry out his horrific deeds. Gacy's misdeeds went unreported for years, in part due to his charisma and reputation as a successful businessman. Furthermore, he was involved in neighborhood politics and had ties to the police. But in 1978, Gacy was ultimately apprehended after one of his victims was able to flee and call the police. The bodies of several young men and boys were discovered buried in Gacy's crawl space when the police inspected his house. The nation carefully followed the case during Gacy's trial, which was a media sensation. In the end, he was held accountable for 33 killings and given the death penalty in 1980. He spent the ensuing 14 years in a death row cell, during which time he produced a large body of writing and art. Gacy was finally put to death by lethal injection in 1994. Although his passing gave the families of his victims some solace, his legacy still looms large over the country. His employment of clown costumes and makeup has permanently tainted the image of the good-natured clown and turned them into symbols of evil. More than 33 lives were lost as a result of Gacy's acts. His story changed how law enforcement organizations look into and handle cases of serial killers, which in turn help to increase public awareness of the problem of exploited and missing children. Innumerable books, documentaries, and movies on Gacy have also been produced, and they continue to frighten and captivate viewers to this day. In light of the John Wayne Gacy case, there are now concerns regarding the efficiency of the criminal justice system as well as the role played by mental illness in violent crimes. Dissociative identity disorder, according to Gacy, is what caused him to commit his crimes. However, the accuracy of this diagnosis and whether it was only a ruse to avoid punishment have both been contested by several experts. The brutality and senselessness of Gacy's crimes cannot be denied, regardless of the part that mental illness may have played in them. He was able to hide his true identity by adopting a clown outfit, which significantly worsens the situation. In conclusion, John Wayne Gacy's tragic narrative serves as a disturbing reminder of some people's propensity for evil. The horrifying nature of his acts is greatly increased by his use of clown makeup and costumes to conceal his true identity. Although he was put to death in 1994, his legacy still haunts us and serves as a reminder of the risks that can be present even among individuals we think we know well. If you enjoyed this video on John Wayne Gacy and found it both fascinating and unsettling, then subscribe to our channel and enable notifications so you won't miss any of our newest true crime videos. Keep checking back for more spooky tales to keep you on the edge of your seat.